over, and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. We'll get to the promised land. We'll get to the promised land.
Romans killing riotous groups that are rising up.
As I turned around quickly, and the next thing I saw was Malcolm falling back in a dead faint.
Killing any potential threat, any potential messiah.
Dr. King left his room, 306, at the Lorraine Hotel just before dinner to get some air. He walked over to the railing at this spot, and noticing some friends below, he leaned over and began to speak with them. Police say 205 feet away, in a window in a flop house, the assassin waited.
Killing any potential threat, any potential messiah.
And Rob, some call that deadly raid the massacre on Monroe Street. Black Panther leaders Fred Hampton and Mark Clark were killed. Fred Hampton and Mark Clark were killed. Fred Hampton and Mark Clark were killed.
Brothers and sisters, they are there. We are not lost. We are scattered. We are original Hebrews.
Let's go! All praises be to the Most High God. Yeah, I say it.
I was opportune to meet my grandparents, whom from childhood had always made us to understand that we are one of the lost tribes of Israel. Okay. So from my grandmother.
Right? Now look at these. Yeah, I'm telling you, I gotta show y'all. A picture speaks 1,000 words. Just look for yourself. And this is the creme de la creme. All praises be to the Most High, y'all. Everything we've been through, y'all, the Most High is going to retribute it on all the nations that have had a hand in the oppression of his apple, the apple of his eye, his chosen people, his beloved, his fervent lover, his only begotten. They're going to have their part in the lake of fire. You see them tormented by some kind of creature. I don't even know what that even is, y'all. Judgment in chains. He that led into captivity shall go into captivity. All praise to the Most High, Yah.
And if you're able to answer this in this setting, are we aware of any foreign adversary capable of moving objects without any discernible means of propulsion?
I think I would, without discernible means of propulsion, I would say that we're not aware of any adversary that can move an object without discernible means of propulsion. We're not aware of any adversary that can move an object without discernible means of propulsion. We're not aware of any adversary that can move an object without discernible means of propulsion.
And ethnicity is a cult? What's up, Zion Dynasty? This is your favorite dreaded Israelite, the man, the myth, and the legend, Mr. JB Zion. Y'all, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Zion Dynasty. First, I gotta say, peace, love, blessings, and Israelite power to all my Israelite brothers and sisters, all my Israelite kings and queens. We could not do this without y'all. So y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into it on this one. So y'all, I did not know that the Pentagon, the United States government, is doing a full-out investigation into what they call UFOs, UAPs, and that whole thing.
Since the early 2000s, we have seen an increasing number of unauthorized and or unidentified aircraft or objects in military-controlled training areas and training ranges and other designated airspace. Reports of sightings are frequent and continuing. We attribute this increase in reporting to a number of factors, including our work to destigmatize reporting, an increase in the number of new systems such as quadcopters and unmanned aerial systems that are in our airspace, identification of what we can classify as clutter, mylar balloons, and other types of air trash, and improvements in the capabilities of our various sensors to detect things in our airspace. Almost 2 years ago, in August of 2020, Deputy Secretary of Defense Nordquist directed the establishment of the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force within the Department of the Navy. The UAP Task Force was built on the foundation of the Navy's initial efforts to respond to the reports from our aviators on unidentified objects observed in our training ranges. here is aircraft that is operating in a U.S. Navy training range that has observed spherical object in that area. And as they fly by it, they take a video. You see it looks reflective in this video, somewhat reflective, and it quickly passes by the cockpit of the aircraft.
Is this one of the phenomena that we can't explain?
I do not have an explanation for what this specific object is. I would simply say that there are a number of events in which we do not have an explanation, and there are a small handful in which there are flight characteristics or signature management that we can't explain with the data that we have.
And if you're able to answer this in this setting, are we aware of any foreign adversary capable of moving objects without any discernible means of propulsion?
I think I would, without discernible means of propulsion, I would say that we're not aware of any adversary that can move an object without discernible means of propulsion. We're not aware of any adversary that can move an object without discernible means of propulsion. We're not aware of any adversary that can move an object without discernible means of propulsion.
Check out those videos. Y'all like, comment, share, subscribe, because we're about to deal with this thing from a Judeo-scripture standpoint, y'all. We're gonna look at this. I know it's torn in Israel between, UFOs. What is this? What's the nature of this? Is this the government just creating some kind of elaborate testing where they're doing testing that they don't really want to disclose to the American public or the global public? I don't know what's really going on. Or is this spiritual? Or are these the chariots of the Most High? Or I've seen other Israelites say that they might be demonic entities. So we're gonna deal with it, family. We're gonna deal with this. Y'all like this video up, comment, share, subscribe. I had to get this out when I seen this news alert. I'm gonna put that in the video as well, those clips where they're taking this seriously, y'all. There used to be a point where they would laugh at people when they talked about stuff like that, talked about aliens and, take over and that kind of thing. But we're gonna look at UFOs from a Bible standpoint and see if the Judeo scriptures have anything to input on in terms of what is this, what's going on. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all know. Y'all check out those previous UFO chariot videos. It is my argument that these are celestial angelic beings. This is my argument, y'all. And there is a lot of scripture that hints at this. There's a lot of descriptions that we can look at through the prophets in the book of Ezekiel, right? Where Ezekiel describes these chariots as a wheel in the middle of a wheel. It's crazy how you can read the Bible from a Western standpoint and you can take your preconceived notions and apply that to a culture. The Bible is a cultural book for the Israelites, and the way we take our perspective into it can sometimes get us to the wrong conclusion of what they were really going on, right? An example of that is Elisha the prophet. When Elisha told his armor bearer Gehazi was freaking out. He was like, all these dudes around us, man. Elisha, what are we gonna do? They surrounded us, these armies, right? It looks like we're gonna lose. And Elisha prays to the Most High Yah for Gehazi. He says, Father, open his eyes so that he may see what I see, right? And see that there is more that fights for us than is against us. So in that moment, the Most High allows Gehazi to see these flaming chariots surrounding the armies that were surrounding Elisha, Gehazi, and the people of Israel, right? So what this means is, that these had to be celestial entities, angelic armies. This is where we get the Hebrew word Yah Sabaoth, which means the Most High Yah of angel armies, right? The Lord of the host. And a lot of times in the Judeo scriptures, you might hear the Most High speak in the plural, Elohim, which speaks of the Most High Yah and the council of heaven. We also see Shalom, Zion Dynasty family. So we're gonna look at the most legendary historian, the Jewish historian Josephus, in his book of the Wars. Now, in this book, Josephus goes into such a deep spiritual legendary explanation of what happens during the time that the Romans under Vespasian and Titus conquer and destroy Jerusalem. So what we're going to do, family, is we're going to open up and we're going to go to book 6. If you guys have this work, you can find it off Sefer.net, the same site where you get the Sefer Bible. And y'all try to get this stuff if you can, because I'm hearing from a lot of the family that they're upping the price on this stuff dramatically now that Zion's waking up. But in Book of the Wars, book 6, chapter 5, we're going to read a little bit of how he describes what is going on while Rome is going to war against the Judeans. A spiritual component of Yah's presence leaving, he accounts in detail. Now, at the bottom, I hope you guys can see it, but I'm going to start at let me go back up a little bit. I'm going to start at moreover. So, moreover, at the feast, so there was a feast going on during this time of the war, which we call Shavuoth, as the priests were going by night into the inner court of the temple, as their custom was to perform their sacred ministrations. They said that in the first place, they felt a quaking. You guys, some historians say it was a sound. Let's keep reading. They felt a quaking while they were going into the temple and heard a great noise. Some authors say that it was a noise that sounded like a train leaving a station. And after that, they heard a sound of a great multitude saying, let us, y'all pay attention to that, let us remove from here. But what is still more terrible, there was one by the name of Yahusha, the son of Ananus, a plebeian and a husbandman. Now he goes into how this individual all of a sudden started crying out, woe unto Jerusalem, woe unto Jerusalem. They even had to beat this guy because he would not stop saying it. And he would continue to say, woe unto Jerusalem, woe unto Jerusalem. But basically you have this guy that just goes mad. And during this time you hear this like a train leaving the station, this great noise and this earthquake, and this mighty voice of a multitude saying, let us remove from hence. Now y'all, this goes into the Lord of the host, Yahuwah Sabaoth. This is when the Most High Yah, his literal presence, his literal angelic guard, leave from protecting our people, y'all, and the Romans proceed to destroy Jerusalem in 70 AD. We also see this in the book of Job, when Satan, Lucifer, that angelic principality, goes before the Most High Yah, and the Most High Yah is asking all the angels, okay, who's doing this assignment? Who's doing this? Who's doing that? And Satan, this angelic being, says that I'm going to and fro seeking who I can devour. And the Most High says, have you considered my servant Job? Which is very interesting. There's a lot that's going on from a spiritual standpoint, but the reason I bring that up is there is a council of the Most High Yah, his host, his angelic sons that come together to decide his will. We see this during the time of King Ahab, where there were a lot of angels that agreed to be lying spirits within the mouth of all the prophets to get Ahab to go to war when they knew that the Most High would not fight for him. So there's a lot of different angelic council meetings, if you will, that take place in the heavenlies. And this is where we get Elohim from, the Most High of angel armies. The angels also can appear like regular human beings, y'all. We see this in the book of Tobit. chapters 4, verse 5. I'm gonna put that on the screen where Tobias or Tobit, the prophet, is interacting with Raphael, and Raphael appears like any other Israelite. Now, there's a lot of scriptures like this that I'm gonna go through, but first I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys these clips of the U.S. government saying that they have seen, I think, upwards of 400 UFO sightings, I believe, since the year 2000 and maybe 2012. But I'm gonna play that up here for you guys to let you know the United States government, the world is on notice of these unidentified flying objects. They would have nothing to gain from this existential threat, this flying aircraft, especially in areas where the United States might be flying their aircrafts and doing different routine checkups and that kind of thing. To see something that can obstruct the orbit of their own military crafts is dangerous, y'all, especially if they don't know if this is a friend or foe. So there's a lot that goes into the Space Force with Donald Trump, and a lot of this stuff is them preparing in the event of some type of existential, unidentified alien or foreign entity. Alien just is a foreign entity that might seek to be an adversary against the United States. These are the chariots of the Most High. We see this with Joshua. He interacted with the captain of the Lord's host. So y'all, it's a lot of precepts. I'm gonna go through those. Y'all check out those past UFO videos. And I'm gonna also rehash a lot of those scriptures, but I'm gonna show you guys those clips. So let's check that out.
Yeah, you're right. It does bring back memories of that 90s TV show. The truth is out there, and now we're learning more about the truth from the people who know. The U.S. military out confirming that it cannot confirm the existence of extraterrestrial life, saying it has no wreckage from any of the sightings, no communication from any of these sightings, and most importantly of all, no explanation for any of these sightings. Here's more.
U.S. Navy personnel recorded what appears to be triangles, some flashing, recorded several years ago, off the coast of the United States.
Top U.S. military officials coming clean about what they know about UFOs, even showing this never-before-seen video, just declassified, showing an object with a reflective surface zooming right past the cockpit of an F-18 fighter jet.
And is this one of the phenomena that we can't explain?
I do not have an explanation for what this specific object is.
That as Congress holds its first public hearing on UFOs in more than 50 years, a landmark day for those who've been documenting UFO sightings.
And what they know is that UFOs are real, that they're physical objects, that they are advanced craft, that they outpace, outmaneuver, and outperform any of our war technology.
Jeremy Corbell on Fox 11's special report. He's even mentioned at the Congressional hearing as he's vetted and posted dozens of videos of unknown objects on his social media. Now, most part of this intelligence report, which counted 144 sightings of flying objects that cannot be explained. Add to that 11 near misses with U.S. military jets, no communication between our jets and the unknown objects, with all the sightings appearing to be unmanned crafts of some kind.
It's ruled out to a high degree that this is any other technological nation that we know of. So that is a national security issue. If we don't know who's operating these craft, who made them, where are they from, and then also what the intent is.
And even the military now stressing the danger from these unknown objects, or UAPs as they call them, a threat that is very real, especially for our military aircraft.
Because UAPs pose potential flight safety and general security risk, we are committed to a focused effort to determine their origins.
With our technology growing even more sophisticated, it's no longer just a pilot's word on the sighting. It's now tracked on ground radar, air radar, thermal imagery, and even video, all collaborating evidence supporting the public's right to know.
Mark my words, there will be more open congressional briefings, and they will bring in people who directly engaged these UFOs for the United States military, possibly even fired upon them.
Now the military saying it has never fired on any of these objects, and that public hearing turned into a private hearing behind closed doors when the military was asked about any underwater discoveries. A lot of these objects are seen splashing into the water, diving into the ocean. The military not wanting to talk about that openly because a lot of their underwater sensors are used for national intelligence gathering. But still, it is a most remarkable day for UFO transparency, with the government now telling all of its pilots, don't be afraid. If you see something strange, talk about it, report it. Nobody's going to laugh at you anymore. For now, we're live here, West LA. Back to both of you we go.
So I'm telling y'all, this stuff has become real. It was already real from begin with, but now we see what went into the Space Force. Donald Trump, this new branch of the military, I told y'all, they are preparing in any case, whether above or below a black revolution, whether these foreign beings come down or whether our people are raised up from below. Y'all check out COINTELPRO, the Willie Lynch letter, Council of Nicaea, just to give you an understanding that they are preparing on both fronts. They are prepared to fight the Most High in the heavens, and they are prepared to fight his people and to keep our people perpetually bound on this side, y'all. There's a lot going on. So now let's go through these chariots. We're going to look at these precepts. I'm going to start in Genesis and kind of go through them to let you guys know that these are angelic foreign beings. UFO just means unidentified flying object. UAP is also a modern term that means the same thing, but basically it's not an actual name. It's just saying that this is a foreign thing. We don't know what it is, right? So they're conceding that this is something beyond the human level of understanding, and this is the United States government. These are the world powers that be acknowledging that we don't know what this is. I'm telling y'all, we see this through various instances in Israelite history where when the Most High Yah is getting ready to go to war or wage war against the nations, that this host shows up, right? And they're always fighting behind the scenes, just like Elisha the prophet. I'm gonna show y'all that clip from Lovecraft Country that sums this up beautifully. I think this is the Civil War scene that's going on in Lovecraft Country, where as they're fighting on the ground, that there is a heavenly presence, a heavenly spiritual war that is going on above them. Whenever Israel went to battle, this is why one would put 1,000 to flight and 2, 10,000 is because they had help, y'all. Our people were being aided. I'm telling y'all, there is more that fights for us than what we realize sometimes. A lot of times we get caught up in the natural component, Esau being the lineage of Satan and just all of this systemic racism and oppression, gunning our people down like animals on the streets, and a lot of this just overall sentiment of us being in captivity, we think it's purely physical, but there is a strong spiritual element. Now, let's start in Genesis. Now, in Genesis chapter 1, we see the Most High alluding to his host. In Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, the Most High Yah says, "Let us make man in our own image after our likeness." Now, when you look at that word where it says God, this is Elohim in the Hebrew, which is the plural for the Godhead, the body of the Most High Yah. Now, there is order in heaven, y'all. But now this gets kind of deep. When you see the 10 Commandments, for example, when Moses was given the commandments, you may see in the scriptures where it says that it was written with the finger of the Most High Yah. But in the Psalms, you may see that it was given to Moses by the disposition of angels. Wait a second. It said it was given by the Most High Yah, and that Moses spoke to the Most High Yah face to face, right? As a man speaks to a friend. But we see that just because the Most High may be dealing with an individual, this does not mean that the Most High himself is speaking with that individual. There is order. Like just like if you have a manager that's speaking on behalf of the CEO, there's a tight order that goes on in the heavens where angels can come in the name of the Most High Yah to deliver a message, to deliver a word. We see this with Michael, the angel of the Most High's presence, that will come and interact with Daniel and the prophets, right? Whenever the Most High was getting ready to do something in the earth. So there is tight structure in heaven. Now, when we see that the Most High is saying, "Let us make man," I'm going to show you guys that the angelic beings throughout the Bible could appear like any other human being. Paul himself said that a lot of us have entertained the angelic host and are unawares, y'all. This stuff gets very deep, right? So I told you guys about the book of Tobit, how this angel Raphael was interacting with the prophet Tobit. In Genesis 1:26, we see the Most High say, "Let us make man in our image." The angels, their visage was blacker than coal, and they looked like any other Israelite black man or black woman. I'm telling y'all. So they were able to interact with y'all's people, and you couldn't tell them apart. We see this during the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah with Lot. when the angels come to bring down the fiery brimstone judgment on Sodom and Gomorrah for their wickedness and the homosexuality and all that wickedness they were doing, we see these angels look like any other men. And those wicked men said, come on, let us know those men that y'all brought in here. They didn't know the difference. And these angels struck the door, and through the door struck those men with blindness, because spiritually they are already blind, right? So not just that instance, but we see Moses interacting with these angels on Mount Sinai that gave him the very word of the Most High Yah. We see Tobit as well. I told you guys about Enoch. Now y'all got to check out those UFO videos. We went in great detail. Now with the book of Enoch, we see, or not the book of Enoch, well, the book of Enoch as well as in Genesis, we see that Enoch pleased the Most High so well that he walked with the Most High Yah and was not, because the Creator took him up out of this thing. Now, whenever you hear about being taken up, the clouds receiving an individual, Enoch, Elijah.
My prince, we are home.
This never gets old.
Elijah, Yeshua, you see all of them go through this. Moses' body was a little bit different. It was hidden from the people. But Enoch, Elijah, they did not die a regular death according to the Judeo scriptures. They were taken away. Now, a lot of literalists might try to explain that maybe this was abstract, maybe this was a metaphor about the work of Elijah always existing, that he never died and that kind of thing. But just based on the scriptures, it says that Elijah the prophet was received into heaven. Enoch was received the same way. Now with Elijah, the scriptures go into more detail and say that the chariots came to receive the prophet Elijah. Now we take a Western mindset into the scriptures sometimes, and we read based on our American understanding. So we're thinking a horse-drawn carriage or something like that. That's you taking your own understanding. The chariots that appeared are not to be likened to some horse-drawn chariot. These are angelic chariots. So what did these chariots look like? So we see Elijah's taken up by this chariot. We have to go to Ezekiel to see these angelic beings described in more detail. When you go to Ezekiel, you see the prophet Ezekiel describe these seraphim angels that have 2 wings that cover their face, 2 wings that they fly with, and 2 wings that cover their feet. Now, these seraphim also can appear with 4 different faces. The face of a lion, the face of an ox, the face of an eagle, and the face of the Son of Man. Y'all gotta read Ezekiel. This stuff gets very deep. But Ezekiel describes the chariots that these angels come out of. And Ezekiel says it looks like a wheel in the middle of a wheel. Now y'all keep UFOs. These are just unidentified. Man does not know what this is. But the Bible explains what this is. These are in fact the vehicles of the chariots based on the Judeo scriptures that the angelic beings of the Most High, the Lord of the host, is monitoring this earth, preparing for judgment, letting the nations know that they are but men. Y'all got to understand. So Ezekiel describes it as a wheel in the middle of a wheel, and that the way this craft gets down is based on the will of the Most High Yah, his intent, his purpose. So whatever the Most High Yah wants, wherever he wants them to go, or whatever he wants them to do, this is how this craft is navigated. And the angels, wherever they perceive them being directly connected spiritually with the will of the Most High Yah, his intent, whatever they think, that's where the craft goes.
We're not aware of any adversary that can move an object without discernible means of propulsion. We're not aware of any adversary that can move an object without discernible means of propulsion. We're not aware of any adversary that can move an object without discernible means of propulsion.
They don't even steer these things, y'all. They just, based on the will of the Most High, based on where he wants them to be in Jerusalem. I showed y'all that clip. I'm gonna insert that about them seeing that beam of light chariot appear on top of the dome of the rock. I'm gonna show y'all that.
There's a new video this morning that some say may be proof we're not alone in the universe. A UFO in the form of a bright light is seen descending over the dome of the rock in Jerusalem. The video is said to be taken over the weekend. Then suddenly the light shoots up into the sky. There you see it. Another video from a different angle appears to show the light doing the same thing. Those clips have gone viral now.
So y'all, I'm telling y'all, there is so many, and the nations are finally having to acknowledge this stuff because there are being more and more sightings, because judgment is coming, y'all. When our people go to war against these nations, they're afraid of it because they know it's coming. We're going to be led by our Messiah. We're going to be led by Yeshua, and the Yeshua is going to regather his people, and he's going to use his saints to wage judgment against the nations. And y'all know that's a losing battle. He's going to open his mouth and it's going to end it, right? When that takes place, there's going to be a spiritual component of the chariots just knocking folks off. I'm telling y'all. And these angelic beings are going to be fighting on the behalf of Zion, right? So we see in Ezekiel that this wheel in the middle of the wheel is where the seraphims with the four faces, these angels, angelic beings come out of. Now, y'all, this stuff gets very deep. In the book of Ezra, it talks about these angels coming up out of the sea, different spacecrafts. Y'all saw that in the clip. So they come out of the heavens, they come out of the sea. It's all kinds of just amazing stuff when you look at these angelic beings. But not just that, y'all. These angels, their whole purpose, like I told y'all, is to minister to the heirs of salvation. We see this in the book of Hebrews. So all the Israelites that are being sealed are being watched over by these angelic beings. All of Israel has these angels assigned to them to protect them from dangers that they may or may not know. So y'all, this stuff is powerful. I just had to share this stuff with y'all. If y'all want me to do another follow-up, y'all check out those previous UFO videos. Also, I can do another follow-up to go into more detail on linking the angels looking like any other human being, y'all. That's where this stuff gets very deep. They could appear like human beings. Now, I even dropped a nugget about Lucifer, y'all. That in the garden, we think that he appeared as a slithering snake. Now, there is that train of thought, but there's also a deeper train of thought that we see introduced with Paul. Paul lets us know that Lucifer appeared to Eve as an angel of light. Deception. So would that be a slithering snake, serpent, dragon? Perhaps. But this does seem as if maybe he appeared to her like the fallen. We see this in the book of Enoch, the book of Jasher, where Noah is said to even have been albino. And when he was born, his parents say, "You look like the angels." Now, y'all, this gets into a literal lineage. Y'all check out the fallen angel videos. That Esau is the spiritual, physical manifestation of the Horites, the cave dwellers, the seed of the fallen angels. Why do I bring that up? The angels could look like any other human being. And Esau, his angelic presence, Lucifer, the shining one, right? These angels, these fallen spirits, looked almost like a regular white person. I'm gonna tell y'all, or look like human beings. We know that for sure. And perhaps when Eve was in that garden, she was finessed because this angel came looking like an angel of light and said that if you eat of this tree of knowledge and good and evil, you will be like the Most High. You will know yourself. You will know what's going on. And deceived Eve, not looking wicked, but just looking like this shining angelic presence. I'm telling y'all. So the angels could look just like any other human being. A lot of the angels assigned to Israel look like any other Israelite. We see in the book of Joshua, when Joshua was getting ready to conquer Jericho, we see this take place with the captain of the Lord's host that appears with Joshua. Also with the 3 Hebrew boys. We see when they're cast into the fiery furnace that they see a 4th person that looks like, y'all check this out, the Son of Man. A lot of Christians say that this was Yeshua in disguise, right? But what we do know is that this appeared just like any Son of Man, any other Israelite, and these angels was always there behind the scenes to watch over and to protect y'all's people. Y'all, this stuff gets very deep. So y'all, with that, I'm gonna leave y'all with that. If y'all want me to do a follow-up on this, just comment down below. I'm trying to get caught up in a lot of these lessons, y'all, that y'all been asking about. But I love y'all with the love of the Messiah. Peace, love, blessings, and Israelite power. Peace to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. Remember, family, 12 tribes, one nation. I love y'all with the love of the Messiah. Be blessed. Shalom. All praises.